They say you never really know someone until you live with them for years. I thought I knew everything about my husband, Daniel. We'd been married for 12 years. 12 years of what I believed was honesty, trust, and love. But on a cold Tuesday morning in March, everything I thought I knew shattered into a million pieces. It started so innocently. Daniel had left for work early that morning, around 6 o'clock. He had an important meeting with a new client, or so he said. I remember him kissing my forehead before he left, whispering that he'd be home late. Nothing unusual. Nothing made me suspicious. I was cleaning our bedroom that afternoon when I heard it. A buzzing sound is coming from somewhere near the closet. At first, I thought it was my phone. I checked my nightstand. Nothing. The buzzing continued, muffled but persistent. I followed the sound to Daniel's side of the closet. We had one of those built-in drawer systems. And the buzzing was coming from the bottom drawer, the one he always kept locked. The one he said contained old work documents and tax papers. Boring stuff, he'd always say with a smile. But boring stuff doesn't buzz. My heart started racing. I'd never been the type of wife to snoop. I trusted Daniel completely. We built our marriage on that trust. But something in my gut told me I needed to see what was making that sound. The drawer was locked, as always. I stood there for a moment, my mind spinning. Should I wait for Daniel to come home and ask him? Should I ignore it? The buzzing stopped, then started again 30 seconds later. Someone was calling, repeatedly. I made a decision that would change my life forever. I went to Daniel's desk in the home office and searched through the small key collection he kept in the top drawer. There were keys for the shed, the garage, and some old padlocks. And then I found it, a small silver key I'd never noticed before. My hands were shaking as I walked back to the bedroom. Part of me wanted to stop, to respect his privacy. But the other part, the part that was growing louder with each passing second, needed to know. The key fit perfectly. I opened the drawer, moving aside some old folders and papers. And there, hidden beneath a stack of manila envelopes, was a phone. A sleek black smartphone I'd never seen before. It was still buzzing in my hand when I picked it up. The screen showed an incoming call, but there was no name, just a single red heart emoji. I stared at that heart, feeling my own heart sink into my stomach. Why would my husband have a secret phone? Why would someone be calling him with a heart emoji as their contact name? The call went to voicemail. I stood there, frozen, holding this phone like it was a bomb about to explode. And in a way, it was. I unlocked the phone. Daniel had always been predictable with passwords. I tried our anniversary. Wrong. I tried his birthday. Wrong. Then I tried to think of our daughter, Emma's birthday. She was 9 years old and the light of our lives. The phone unlocked. My breath caught in my throat. The home screen was bare. No apps except the basic ones that came with the phone. No photos. No social media. This wasn't a regular phone. This was a phone with one purpose. I opened the contacts. There was only one. Just that red heart emoji. No name. No other information. Just a heart and a phone number. I scrolled through the call log. Pages and pages of calls. Multiple calls every single day, going back months. Some last a few minutes. Others last over an hour. Late night calls. Early morning calls. Calls were made when Daniel was supposedly in meetings or working late. My hands were trembling so badly, I almost dropped the phone. I opened the messages. The text thread with the red heart contact was long, very long. I started reading. Can't wait to see you tonight. That thing you did yesterday, I can't stop thinking about it. She has no idea, does she? I love you more than anything. She. They were talking about me. I was she. The wife who had no idea. I scrolled back further, my vision blurring with tears. The messages went back 8 months. 8 months of secret conversations. 8 months of my husband living a double life. There were no explicit photos, thank God, but the words were enough. The intimacy in those messages, the inside jokes, the plans they made, the promises they shared, it was all there. A complete relationship I knew nothing about. I sat down on the edge of the bed, still holding the phone. My mind was racing. Who was she? How did they meet? Where did they see each other? How did I miss this? And then a thought struck me like lightning. Emma, our daughter. Had she ever met this woman? Had Daniel brought her around our child? The phone buzzed again in my hand. Another call from the red heart contact. I stared at the screen, watching it ring. Part of me wanted to throw the phone across the room. Part of me wanted to answer it and scream at whoever was on the other end. But I did neither. Instead, I let it go to voicemail. A few seconds later, a voicemail notification appeared. My finger hovered over it. Should I listen? Did I really want to hear her voice? Yes. I needed to know everything. I pressed play. Hey baby, I know you're probably in that meeting, but I just wanted to hear your voice. Last night was incredible. I can't believe we have to wait until Friday to see each other again. 3 more days feel like forever. Anyway, call me when you're free. I love you so much. Her voice was young, sweet, warm, the kind of voice that made you want to trust the person speaking. She sounded happy, in love. She had no idea I existed either. Or maybe she did, and she just didn't care. I played the voicemail 3 more times, memorizing every word, every inflection. I needed to understand who this person was who had stolen my husband. Then I did something I never thought I'd do. I started going through everything on that phone. Every text message from the beginning, every call log entry, every single detail of their secret relationship. The more I read, the worse it got. This wasn't just some casual affair. This was a full relationship. They had pet names for each other. He called her Sunshine. She called him my forever. It made me sick. I learned that they'd met at a coffee shop downtown. She was a barista, 26 years old. I was 41. Daniel was 43. The math made my stomach turn. They'd started talking when Daniel stopped in for his morning coffee. Innocent at first, he'd told her, just a friendly conversation. But then he'd asked for her number, and things had progressed from there. The messages showed how it evolved. The first texts were casual. Great talking to you today. Hope you have a good shift. Normal, friendly stuff that could have been innocent. But then came the compliments. You have the most beautiful smile. I couldn't stop thinking about you today. And she'd responded, encouraged him. You're so sweet. I look forward to seeing you every morning. By the 3rd week, they were texting constantly. By the 2nd month, they'd met outside the coffee shop. By the 3rd month, they were telling each other, I love you. I read through messages where Daniel complained about me, about our marriage. He told her I didn't understand him anymore, that we'd grown apart. He felt trapped. That's what he'd called our 12-year marriage. Trapped. He told her about Emma, at least. He'd been honest about having a daughter. But the way he talked about me, like I was some burden he had to endure, it cut deeper than anything else. She'd been sympathetic, understanding. You deserve to be happy, she'd written. You deserve someone who sees you. I wanted to scream. I saw him every day. I cooked his meals. I supported his career. I raised our daughter while he worked late hours. I was there for every success and every failure. How dare he say, I didn't see him? But the worst part wasn't the emotional betrayal. It was the logistics, the planning, the lies. I found messages about hotels, specific rooms, specific times. I booked the Marriott for Friday night, 7 p.m. Can't wait to have you all to myself. Every business trip, every late work night, every conference. It was all a lie. He'd been with her. I remembered a weekend 3 months ago when Daniel said he had to go to a work conference in Chicago. He'd been gone for 3 days. I'd stayed home with Emma, not thinking twice about it. I found the messages from that weekend. They'd gone to Chicago together. They'd walked along the lakefront, had dinner at fancy restaurants, stayed in a suite at a luxury hotel, all on our credit card, marked as business expenses. My hands clenched around the phone. The rage was building inside me, hot and consuming. But beneath the rage was something worse. Pain. Deep, aching pain that made it hard to breathe. I'd loved this man. I'd given him everything. And he'd thrown it all away for a 26-year-old barista he'd known for 8 months. The phone buzzed again. Another text from Red Heart. Missing you extra today. Can't wait for Friday. I'm planning something special. Wear that cologne I love. Friday. That was 3 days away. Daniel had told me last week he had a late meeting on Friday. Now I knew what that meeting really was. I looked at the time. It was almost 4 in the afternoon. Daniel would be home around 7. I had 3 hours to decide what to do with this information. My first instinct was to confront him the moment he walked through the door, to throw the phone at him and demand answers, to scream and cry and make him feel a fraction of the pain I was feeling. But something stopped me. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was a strategy. But I realized that confronting him now would only give him a chance to lie, to make excuses, to try to manipulate the situation. No, I needed to be smart about this. I needed a plan. I took pictures of everything, every message, every call log, every detail. I sent them to my email using my own phone. Evidence, proof that I wasn't crazy, that this was really happening. Then I carefully put the phone back, exactly where I'd found it, in the locked drawer beneath the folders. I locked it again and returned the key to Daniel's desk. I went to the kitchen and started preparing dinner like it was any other night. Pasta with marinara sauce. Daniel's favorite. The irony wasn't lost on me. When Emma came home from school, I helped her with her homework like nothing was wrong. I asked about her day. I laughed at her stories. I was the same mom I'd always been, even though inside I was falling apart. Daniel came home at 7:15. Hey, beautiful, he said, kissing my cheek. The same cheek he'd kissed this morning before leaving to live his secret life. How was your day? I asked, my voice steady. Exhausting. That client meeting ran way longer than expected, but I think we closed the deal. He smiled, proud of himself, proud of his lie. That's wonderful, honey. I served him pasta. We sat at the dinner table. As a family, Emma talked about a science project. Daniel talked about work. I smiled and nodded and played my part. And all I could think about was that phone, that red heart, that woman's voice saying, I love you. After dinner, Daniel went to his office to finish some work. I put Emma to bed, reading her favorite story about a princess and a dragon. She fell asleep halfway through, her small hand holding mine. I think we would have been friends. She was right. In another life, without Daniel's lies between us, we probably would have liked each other. Maybe we still can be, I said, after all of this is over, after we burn his world down. She laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. I'd like that. I'd really like that. We exchanged personal phone numbers, real numbers, not the secret phone number, and agreed to talk again before Friday. After I hung up, I sat there for a long time, processing what I'd just done. I'd allied with my husband's mistress to expose his betrayal. It was surreal, but it also felt right. For the first time since finding that phone, I felt powerful instead of powerless. I had control. I had a plan. And I had an unexpected ally in Melissa. Daniel came home that evening, and everything seemed normal to him. He had no idea that his two worlds had collided, that the women he'd kept separate had found each other. He had no idea what was coming on Friday. Thursday felt like the longest day of my life. Every hour dragged by as I waited for Friday evening to arrive. I kept my routine perfectly normal, making breakfast, doing laundry, helping Emma with her homework, all while my mind raced with thoughts of tomorrow's confrontation. Daniel was in a good mood, almost too good. He was whistling while he got ready for work on Thursday morning. He kissed me goodbye with more enthusiasm than usual. He even brought home flowers that evening just because he felt guilty, probably, or maybe he was excited about his upcoming date with Melissa. Either way, those flowers went straight into the garbage after he fell asleep. Melissa and I texted throughout the day. She was nervous. So was I. But we kept each other strong. We finalized our plan, went over every detail, and discussed every possible outcome. What if he gets angry? She texted. Let him, I replied. He has no right to be angry. We're the ones who were betrayed. What if he tries to leave? Then we let him. But he'll know we know. And he'll know that we know about each other. That's what matters. I keep thinking about all the times he told me he loved me. She wrote, were those lies too? I didn't have an answer for that. I'd been asking myself the same question about the past 12 years. Friday morning arrived. Daniel was practically bouncing with energy. Big day today, he said over coffee. That late meeting tonight might run until 9 or 10. Don't wait up. Okay, honey, I said with a smile. I hope your meeting goes well. If only he knew. Emma had a sleepover at her best friend's house that night. I'd arranged it earlier in the week, before any of this happened. Now, I was grateful. She wouldn't be home to witness what was about to unfold. I dropped Emma off at 4 o'clock. Her friend's mother, Rebecca, noticed something was off. You okay, Sarah? You look stressed. Just a long week? I said, thanks for having Emma tonight. Anytime. You know we love having her. You sure you're all right? I forced a smile. I will be. After tonight, I will be. Daniel left the house at 6:30. He was dressed nicely. The cologne Melissa loved, the shirt I bought him for his birthday last year. He'd showered and shaved carefully, all for her. See you late tonight, he said, kissing my cheek. See you? I replied. And I would, just not in the way he expected. According to Melissa, they were meeting at a restaurant called Rosewood. It was downtown, about 30 minutes from our house. Upscale, romantic, the kind of place you took someone you were trying to impress. I waited until 7:15. Then I got dressed. Not too fancy, not too casual. I wanted to look put together, strong, like a woman who had her life under control, even though inside I was shaking. I drove downtown, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. I parked a block away from the restaurant and texted Melissa, "I'm here. Are you inside?" "Yes. We're at a table in the back corner. He's facing away from the entrance. Perfect positioning. Give me 5 minutes." I sat in my car, taking deep breaths. This was it. The moment everything changed. Once I walked into that restaurant, there was no going back. My marriage, as I knew it, would be over. But wasn't it already over? The moment Daniel bought that secret phone, the moment he started lying, the moment he told another woman he loved her, yes, it was already over. I was just making it official. I got out of the car and walked toward Rosewood. The evening air was cool against my skin. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears, loud and insistent. The restaurant was beautiful. Soft lighting, elegant decor, quiet music playing in the background. The kind of place Daniel had stopped taking me to years ago. The hostess greeted me with a smile. "Good evening. Do you have a reservation?" "No. I'm actually meeting someone who's already here. Back corner table." "Oh, yes. Right this way." She led me through the restaurant. I could see them now. Daniel, with his back to me, leaning forward, talking animatedly. Melissa, facing him, looked beautiful in a red dress, her smile frozen on her face as she saw me approaching. This was it. I reached the table. Daniel was mid-sentence, saying something about a work project, completely oblivious to my presence. "Hi, honey," I said. The effect was immediate. Daniel froze, literally froze, his wine glass halfway to his lips. His face went pale. His eyes went wide. He turned slowly, like he was hoping he'd misheard, that it wasn't really me standing there. But it was. "Sarah?" His voice was barely above a whisper. What are you doing here?" "Having dinner with my husband." I pulled out a chair and sat down. "Mind if I join you?" "Oh, wait. I see you already have company. How rude of me to interrupt your business meeting." Melissa was watching this unfold with a mixture of fear and fascination. She was playing her part perfectly, looking confused, concerned, waiting for Daniel's reaction. "Sarah, I can explain." Daniel started. "Can you?" I cut him off. "Can you really explain why you're at a romantic restaurant with another woman when you told me you had a late work meeting?" He looked at Melissa, then back at me, his mind clearly racing to create a lie. "This is a client. We're discussing a project." "Oh, Daniel." I shook my head. "Please don't insult my intelligence more than you already have." Melissa spoke up, her voice shaking slightly. "Daniel, who is this woman?" "Beautiful." She was playing confused so well. "Melissa, I'm so sorry about this," Daniel said, his voice desperate. This is my ex-wife. She's been having trouble letting go of the divorce. She sometimes follows me." "Ex-wife?" I interrupted, my voice sharp. "Is that what you're going with? Really? You're not divorced?" Melissa's eyes went wide with fake shock. "But you told me, you said the divorce was finalized 2 years ago." Daniel's face went from pale to red. "Melissa, I can explain. It's complicated. We're separated. We're in the process. We're not separated." I said firmly, "We've never been separated. We've been married for 12 years, Daniel. 12 years. I sleep in your bed every single night. I make your breakfast every morning. I raise your daughter while you're out here lying to other women." Other diners were starting to notice the commotion. A few heads turned our way. The atmosphere at our table was heavy with tension. "You have a daughter?" Melissa said, her voice cracking with emotion. You told me you had a daughter from your previous marriage, but he does have a daughter. I said, her name is Emma. She's 9 years old, and she's from our current, very much active marriage. Daniel stood up suddenly, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. Sarah, please. Not here. We can talk about this at home. Oh, now you want to talk? After 8 months of lying? 8 months of secret phones and secret meetings and secret relationships? His eyes went even wider. How did you? The phone. You found the phone. I did, 2 days ago. And I've read every message between you and Melissa here. Every single one. Melissa stood up too, her performance shifting to real emotion now. You lied to both of us. You told me you were divorced. You made me believe I was dating a single father. You made me believe we had a future together. Melissa, please. Daniel reached for her hand, but she jerked it away. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. Tears were streaming down her face now. Real tears. I would never have dated a married man. Never. And you knew that. That's why you lied. I felt a surge of satisfaction watching Daniel squirm. He was trapped, exposed. No more lies, no more manipulation. Just the raw truth of what he'd done. How long have you two been in contact? Daniel asked, his voice hoarse. He was starting to understand. When did you plan this? Does it matter? I asked. What matters is that we know the truth. Both of us. You've been playing us against each other, keeping us separate, so we couldn't compare notes. But your game is over, Daniel. The restaurant manager approached our table, clearly uncomfortable. Excuse me, but we're going to have to ask you to keep your voices down or take this conversation outside. We're leaving, I said, standing up. All three of us. We're going to finish this conversation in the parking lot where we're not disturbing other people. Daniel looked like he wanted to argue, but what could he say? What excuse could he possibly make? We walked out together. A strange, tense trio. The cool evening air hit my face as we stepped outside. My heart was pounding, adrenaline coursing through my veins. In the parking lot, away from the restaurant's windows, the real conversation began. I want to know everything, I said, my voice steady despite my racing heart. And I mean everything, Daniel. When did this start? How did you justify it? What were you thinking? Daniel looked between Melissa and me, his face a mask of panic and guilt. Sarah, I never meant for this to happen. I never meant to hurt you. But you did, Melissa said, her voice hard. You hurt both of us. You lied to both of us. So start talking. He ran his hand through his hair, a gesture I'd seen 1,000 times when he was stressed. It started innocently. I swear it did. I was just stopping for coffee, and Melissa was friendly, and we talked. That's all it was at first. Just conversation. When did it become more? I asked. I don't know. Gradually. She made me feel seen, appreciated, young again. I made you feel appreciated. I said, my voice rising, for 12 years, Daniel. I supported your career. I raised our daughter. I kept our home together. What more did you want from me? I don't know, he shouted back. I don't know what was missing, but something was. We'd become roommates. Sarah, we barely talked anymore. We barely touched. It felt like we were just going through the motions. So instead of talking to me about it, instead of working on our marriage, you went and started a whole other relationship. He didn't answer. He couldn't answer because there was no good answer. Melissa spoke up, her voice shaking with anger. And me? What was I to you? Just a midlife crisis? Someone to make you feel young and attractive? No, Daniel said quickly. No, it wasn't like that. What we had was real. My feelings for you were real. Were. Melissa caught the past tense. So now that we're both here, now that your lies are exposed, suddenly it's past tense. I don't know what it is anymore. Daniel's voice cracked. I don't know anything anymore. Everything is falling apart. Because you tore it apart, I said coldly. You built your life on lies. And now those lies are catching up to you. What do you want from me? Daniel asked, looking at me with desperate eyes. What do you want me to say? That I'm sorry? I am. I'm so incredibly sorry. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. But I love you, Sarah. I love our family. I don't want to lose you. You should have thought about that before you bought a secret phone. I said, before you spent 8 months building a relationship with another woman. Before you took her to Chicago on our credit card and lied to my face about it. He flinched at that. You know about Chicago? I know about everything. Every hotel. Every restaurant. Every lie you told me so you could be with her. Melissa had wrapped her arms around herself, tears still running down her face. I can't believe I was so stupid. All the signs were there. The way you could only meet at certain times. How? You never wanted to take pictures together. How did you keep your work life separate from our relationship? I ignored all of it because I wanted to believe you. You weren't stupid. I told her. He's a good liar. He's been lying to me for months, too, and I never suspected a thing. He's had 12 years to practice deceiving me. It wasn't all lies, Daniel protested weakly. My feelings, your feelings don't matter. Melissa shouted, your feelings don't erase what you did. You made me complicit in an affair. You turned me into the other woman without my consent. And you destroyed our family. I added, Emma is going to be devastated. She worships you, Daniel, and you threw that away for what? For excitement?